Hi again, everyone. Emily again today. I wanted to do a video on something that's a little bit controversial, but I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. And if anybody's got any differing opinions or things that they want to add, please do in the comments. I'm open to criticism and critique because, especially on this particular topic, I know I'm coming from a place of privilege. Me personally, I'm white and cis, so I know that my perspective and view on things could be a little bit different from other people, and I want to be respectful of that and not just view things from a place of privilege. I've also looked into both sides of this argument, and I think I can understand both sides, but I wanted to share my thoughts on it. So please be kind. If you genuinely think I am being insensitive and not, on the right track, please leave me a comment and I will take on board all that you have to say. That being said, I know this has been a big old, preface. I'll actually get into the topic, which is the new pride flag. I just want to put in that I'm not talking about the history of the pride flag. There is a lot to it, and I have looked into it, but I don't believe that that's necessarily that relevant for the conversation that we're having today. I think it is, very interesting the way that the pride flag came about, that it was designed by Gilbert Baker, and was, slightly changed, had some of the colours taken off, but I will link two really good videos on the topic that you can watch if you're more interested in that. They cover that and then discuss their views on the flag as well, but I feel like it's more relevant to talk about the here and now and the repercussions of using the flag as the new pride flag now rather than looking at the past. That's just where I'm going with this video. So I'm talking about, and I will probably put up pictures here, the new pride flags. There's a couple of different variants, and they include a black and a brown stripe and the trans flag. And I think these are great. I think they're really useful for starting up a conversation about people who are really marginalised, even within the LGBTQ plus community. I think there are a lot of inequalities and injustices, and that is proven. I'm going to link two other videos that I've watched about this, so go and check them out as well. But I completely understand that these flags have their use and are, inclusive for these communities. So I think, for example, we've created a lot of different flags for a lot of different reasons. We have the trans flag, we have, essentially flags for all the different, non-binaries, everything. And I think it creates a community. So if you're non-binary and you see somebody else with the same flag as you, and it can create a camaraderie. It can create a camaraderie and a community, and I think it's useful and it can make people feel empowered. However, I think these flags' purpose and use is essentially, this is what needs to change. This is what needs to get better. These are the groups that are suffering the worst. And I think used in that context, within those discussions, it can be very useful and helpful for these communities. However, my worry is that it could end up replacing the pride flag. In terms of businesses using it, in terms of other people using this one instead of the old pride flag. And I just wanted to discuss my reasons why that concerns me. Again, I understand my point of privilege, and I am in no way saying that this flag is bad, that this is a not good flag, that we shouldn't use it at all. I think it raises some really important issues that I know there's a lot of struggles with, and I know that trans communities and people of colour within the LGBTQ plus community do really get hit hard in terms of prejudice and injustice, and it's not right, and things need to change. But I don't believe that changing the overall pride flag to this will fix those things. I think it will essentially become a sticker or a band-aid that people can say, look, I'm using this flag, so therefore everything's okay. And I think that the problem's a lot deeper than that. I'm going to also discuss some other points here. So my first worry is that it can be othering. I know that they are proportionally, people of colour and trans community, their struggles are felt by, the whole community if those of those particular communities, if that makes sense. But I don't believe that they should be on top of the pride flag, because the pride flag already includes everybody. And I know that that's sort of a null point in terms of arguing against this flag. The pride flag includes everybody. People of colour, trans people, disabled people, it includes everybody. So I don't think that putting some people's struggles above others is the right way to go about things in terms of moving forwards and keeping this as the flag. It's telling, for example, disabled people or people with mental illnesses, or a gay person or a lesbian person or a non-binary person, an asexual person, that their struggles are not as important as those of people of colour and trans. It's putting their, difficulties that are, the largest majority of those communities have those issues, in terms of prejudice and discrimination and racism and bullying and harassing. It's by far the worst area that needs improving, but I still think that everybody's struggles are valid. For example, if somebody with a chronic illness feels pain and then somebody falls over and hurts themselves, if they really hurt themselves, they still hurt themselves, even if somebody with a chronic illness feels more pain. You wouldn't fall over and say, oh, that really hurt, but you suffer worse, so therefore my pain isn't valid. That's not how I believe things should be done. Everybody's experience is personal and human and is valid. You could be in the most privileged position, and a lot of, singer-songwriters, a lot of creators have this, where they have lots of money, they have maybe a good family, they have a loved one, they have, a wonderful house, they live in a wonderful area, but they can still suffer and struggle with things. And putting some communities above others, I don't feel is the right way to go about things. As I said previously, using this as a discussion point, raising awareness of these issues is really important, and using this flag for those reasons is a good idea. But replacing the pride flag, I feel like other minority groups will feel othered, and as if they are not included anymore. My other concern, again with the othering side of things, is that there's already enough racism. People of colour are discriminated against and harassed, and that's not okay. I don't believe that putting that in a flag is going to help much, and also people of other races, for example mixed race or Asian, are still harassed and still face injustice. However, they're not being included in this. I also believe that mental health issues and people with disabilities also struggle a great deal. I think a lot of people in Pride will usually end up struggling with some kind of mental illness, and that's not represented in this new flag. You know, it's a really heavy, difficult topic, but people often suffer with depression because they're not accepted, because they're not included, and this Pride flag was designed to include everyone. So I think putting these other colours on top will make people with mental difficulties or with disabilities feel as though their struggles aren't seen. And there's a massive issue with ableism in the world right now, and probably throughout the community. Ableism is something that we really need to be more aware of as well. And I think that if we start saying this problem needs looking at more so, then other areas can be missed out and forgotten about. And I don't think that's right, personally. If we're using this instead of the rainbow flag, which I don't believe everybody is. I think they are using it as a talking point to raise awareness of these issues, but I would argue that also ableism needs to be brought awareness to as well. Again, I understand that I am incredibly privileged, and all of these views are coming from a point of privilege, and I don't want to come across as not understanding. I can't 100% understand, of course, because I have not faced the same issues, but I do want to emphasize that I'm incredibly empathetic of these issues, and I'm not dismissing them by any, in any way. These, racism should not exist in any way, let alone under the Pride, community. It makes me really, really sad to think about the amount of people within the LGBTQIA+ community who are really struggling. And I live in an incredibly privileged country where the prejudice and discrimination against these people is less than in other countries. I know there's a long way to go, but again, I don't think that putting some issues above others is the right way to do things, because things change all the time, and if we keep the flag as inclusive as possible to everybody, we can all unite under that. This new flag is polarizing people, which is the opposite of what the Pride flag is intended to do. It's intended to bring everybody together so we can see people under the Pride flag and know that we are safe and that we're part of that community and that we can be understood on that level. I don't think that we should start making too much of a conversation amongst this community. I believe that these issues should be brought up to a wider, the wider public, but I think within the community we just need to keep our flag as everybody's flag. I feel that people of colour, people with disabilities, trans people are included in this flag, are already there, are already, accepted under this flag. And I don't think that we should make others feel that their struggles are lesser. Let's not segregate people of colour anymore. That's happened enough. They just, we're all the same. We're all just human beings. People of colour, trans people, we're all just human beings. And I think that's the beauty of the Pride flag, is that it's just human beings. Everybody under this one flag, let's come together and be as one, be accepting, be understanding as a community. I don't want to have conflict and I don't want to have conflict within the community. I understand there already is, and I understand that, you know, a gay person, a trans person can be racist or homophobic. That happens. But I don't think that should then be brought up to the surface and given a voice where people can argue and discuss this thing. I think that just gives rise to more dialogue within the community separating us, and we really don't need that. My only other thing I'm going to add on the end of this, again, is very controversial, but I want to hear your opinions on it, because I have my own thoughts and opinions on this, and I'd like to be, have a dialogue and discussion. In my mind, LGBTQIA+ is quite long, and I understand people just saying LGBTQ+. However, lesbians, bi, and gay fits under the Q, which is queer. So if we use the brackets, for example, the trans bracket includes trans non-binary people. It includes trans binary people as well. So let's use the queer bracket, which includes everybody who's queer, for lesbians, bisexuals, and gay people as well. So then the acronym is shortened to just TQIA+, which is trans, queer, intersex, and asexual, because all of those don't fit into any other bracket. Asexual is not sexual, so they don't fit under the queer bracket because they don't have a sexual attraction to people, and the intersex community don't fit into any other category either. So TQIA+ for me, just as a thought, is shorter and includes everybody. Again, having lesbians, gays, and bis having their own letter could be a symbol that they are more important than, say, non-binary people. So let's just create spaces where everybody feels included. Let's use these terms such as queer to include everybody who is queer and not put anybody in front or above those that are just under the queer bracket. Everybody's struggle is valid, and everybody who struggles needs to be accepted and loved in this community. So those are just my thoughts on the new Pride flag and also LGBTQIA+. I think I want to reiterate, I have no issue with the flag being used as a talking point. It's getting people thinking, it's getting people realising that racism and prejudice against these communities is a massive issue and needs to change. It's a symbol of fighting back and struggling, but I just don't want it to replace the Pride flag. I think that's basically where I'm coming from, and those were my reasons why. So please leave your thoughts, and if you want to tell me I'm wrong in the comments, please subscribe. It really helps me, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a bit heavy, but I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts and opinions on this. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye.